Hello everyone, I'm Ida Mora, and today I'm going to be talking to you guys about the Arizona's Immigration Senate Bill 1070 and why it is important for it to be repealed. First, I'll start off with a brief on what the Senate bill is. It's seen as the toughest law in the nation. The statute requires law enforcement to determine immigration status where suspicion of unlawful presence exists. It creates a violation for failure to carry an alien registration document. It makes it illegal to hire or solicit work under specific circumstances. It allows state residents to sue state and local agencies for noncompliance. It establishes crime involving trespassing by illegal aliens, and it makes it illegal to transport, harbor, or conceal unlawful aliens. This bill was enacted to deter criminal practices like human drug trafficking, terrorism, and the immigration of illegal aliens. But the only thing this statute will do is wreak havoc in our communities, lead to the kind of racial profiling our country left behind years ago, and waste Arizona's precious resources that they don't have. Today I will talk about how Senate Bill 1070 will lead to massive racial profiling and civil rights abuses, and how it will worsen police-community relationships in immigrant and ethnic communities. I will also talk about how Senate Bill 1070 may be unconstitutional and how ultimately its economic impacts will guarantee its repeal. First, this bill will lead to massive racial profiling and civil rights abuses. In the bill, there are no guidelines as to what reasonable suspicion is. But knowing the reality on the ground, reasonable suspicion can mean those looking like, sounding like, or acting like general stereotypes of undocumented immigrants. Congressman Brian Bilbrey, supporter of the bill, stated in an NBC interview that trained professionals will look at the kind of dress people wear, right down to the shoes, right down to the clothes. No matter what language is included in the bill to prevent it, racial profiling will result. What the law states and what actually happens on the ground could very well be two different things. So why create a framework that encourages racial profiling? The very Institute of Justice, which focuses on building trust in immigrant communities, has reported that the bill will worsen police-community relations in immigrant and ethnic communities. It will cause immigrants to live in fear of deportation, making immigrants afraid to cooperate with police in police investigations that deal with serious issues like violent crimes and human trafficking. Ultimately, the disenfranchised will be further ostracized, while serious criminal investigations will be hindered. Martin Escobar, a Tucson officer of 15 years, tells LA Times' Paloma Escobar that it takes extraordinary effort to gain trust in an area where many fear deportation, and feels the new law will break down the relationships and trust he has built in these communities. Escobar is among the numerous individuals filing suit. He filed suit in federal court against the state, the city, and the county, saying that the law will impede police investigations and lead to more crime. Already, Arizona is witnessing that its new immigration law only serves to distract police from fighting crime. The Immigration Police Center reveals that while Maricopa County has diverted resources to immigration enforcement, response times to 911 calls has increased, arrest rates have dropped, and thousands of felony warrants have not been served. To my next point, the bill may be unconstitutional. Because this measure allows law enforcement to question anyone based on reasonable suspicion because this measure, they may be undocumented. Even citizens and legal immigrants caught not carrying proof of their U.S. legal status could be charged as felons. As a result, many lawsuits are now underway that claim the bill is unconstitutional because it violates many statutes such as the Supremacy Clause, the First Amendment, the Fourth Amendment, and many others. Information gathered from the legalactioncenter.org reveals that many organizations have already filed suit on these grounds. Dozens of individuals have already filed suit as well. Among these include a 70-year-old U.S. citizen of Spanish and Chinese descent who says he's been stopped twice by Arizona police asking for papers. A Latino citizen student at Arizona State University whose New Mexico driver's license would not be accepted as proof of citizenship under the law. Ultimately, the bill needs to be repealed because if not, it will negatively impact Arizona's already crippling economy. With an existing $4.5 billion deficit, Arizona will now face even more strain on its financial resources. The state will be forced to waste millions to defend itself against the civil rights lawsuits that are already underway and will continue. The cost of implementing this bill will have its toll. In an email between Yuma County Attorney John Smith and Arizona lawmakers, Smith warns that an increase in funding is necessary for additional court staff, interpreters, administrative staff, and pre-trial services, and that he highly doubts the fines and fees assessed will be able to match the need and cost associated with the bill. Boycotts against Arizona have been rapidly increasing. Cities all across the nation, including Los Angeles, San Francisco, San Diego, Oakland, New York, Boston, Seattle, and St. Paul, Minnesota, all passed boycotts or resolutions condemning Arizona with promises of looking into how to cut contracts with the state. Within Arizona, both Tucson and Flagstaff city councils voted to sue the state, citing concerns about enforcement costs and negative effects on the state's tourism industry. It is estimated that Phoenix, already suffering from convention cancellations, risk losing as much as $90 million in hotel and convention business over the next few years because of the controversy. Mexico has begun to boycott as well. Fernando Jimenez, the Director of Trade Investment for the Arizona Department of Commerce, says that in 2009, nearly $4.5 billion worth of products were exported from the state to Mexico, which is Arizona's #1 trading partner. Trade with Mexico is extremely important for Arizona. If boycotts spread, it could severely damage the state's economy. In conclusion, the astounding economic toll that the bill will have on Arizona will ultimately lead to its repeal.